We talk about three areas that we have been finding challenging and think people should be focusing on. And number one is supply chain flexibility. Some of the challenges that we've all been feeling and how do you respond to that? There have been numerous disruptions to the supply chain, lack of actionable information. So this is one of those things where you could be today inundated with lots of data. I differentiate the difference between data and information. Data is just a bunch of stuff that you've got. And information becomes real when you can take action on it. So it's really, I'm collecting all this information. It could be forecasts from customers. It could be information from our supply chain partners. I'm getting all of it. What do I do with it? How do I take that and convert it into actionable information in real time? Not just I gather it. It takes me a week to, put it into Excel spreadsheets and try to crank through it. How can I make it more real time so I can be more responsive? Talent gaps is an interesting one. Talent gaps meaning, we've all of a sudden flipped to being in virtual environments in many instances. People couldn't be in the office. Salespeople aren't meeting face to face with their customers. How do we do that? And sometimes people just are not comfortable being on a Zoom call with somebody. How many people came into 2020 last year and didn't even know what Zoom was, let alone how do I get my camera on and do all that stuff virtually? How do we get people up to speed, feeling comfortable with new technologies, or just putting them in a position where they need to do something totally different? How do we support that individual? And then the last part is really around lack of flexibility. And again, when we talk about people, process, and technology, people could be a talent gap, could be just, I'd like my pen and paper to take my orders, and I'll give it to somebody else to key it into the system. Well, we're not meeting with people anymore to give that, so they need to be able to enter it into their laptop. Or maybe we've got processes that before were very manual. I've got different systems that I'm using that kind of overlaps into the technology, but they're not integrated. So to get it from one to the other, I have to rekey it, or I'm using paper to record it. Well, if we're distributed, we're not in the office, how do you do that? So, that's been a challenge for a lot of companies is, wow, I'm now all of a sudden thrown into this pandemic world of everything is virtual and we need to social distance, and either I don't have the technologies or I don't know how to use it. So a lot of that flexibility has been a challenge. I don't know if there was anything you wanted to add.
I would just say there's a higher expectation of customers. There are disruptions in demand, like we're often not tied to specific events. So, back to school may not have gone as well as planned. Perhaps Easter didn't. Maybe the Christmas season was more than you expected if you were a distributor, retailer. It's all change. So the data you may have from the past does not necessarily inform the present. So I'll quote Wayne Gretzky, who said, skate to where the puck is, not to where the puck had been. And I think we're all scrambling to gear up for changes in forecasts and supply disruptions, as well as being excited about what we think will be a return to normal moving forward.
Yeah, it really does tie into the next one, which is forecasting capabilities. It's becoming not only skating to where the puck is, but where the puck is going to be. In times of disruption that we've been experiencing, what do I even know where that's going to be? So, what we've really seen throughout the past year, major swings in demand. I've had several clients who had certain customers who consumed their annual forecast within the first couple of months of the year. That customer, by chance, happened to have a peek in their crystal ball, knowing that they wanted to get the product into their warehouse so that even if it sat for a while, they were able to support their customers. So that kind of created some tension within my clients. Is all of a sudden there's these major swings and then kind of goes quiet. And how do you respond to that? Supply shortages, again, those disruptions to your supply chain is feeding into this. Inventory challenges. Do I have the right stuff at the right time? Did I, because I came into 2020, I was forecasting a certain type of product or certain things, and because of the pandemic and the way things evolved, maybe I've got inventory, but it's not the right inventory. So, what do I do with all of that? Shifts in the demand model. How are we able to respond to those instances where we can't go into a customer's site and visit them in person and take their order, or see what else, maybe kind of look around and see what else is going on and figure out how else can we help them. The other part of it is, as a distributor, some of you probably have experienced where the manufacturers have put up an e-commerce website and are offering the ability to sell directly, bypassing the distribution channel. So it's how do you respond to all those things? What is it going to be like down the road? And then reduce productivity, social distancing within the office for sure. People, if they're having to social distance, are they even in the same office? Are they working from home? Or if you're out in the warehouse, you certainly want to keep your employees safe. So if I'm running a warehouse and I'm fulfilling orders, how are we keeping people safe, keeping them socially distanced when, in fact, they may be picking from the same aisle at the same time? So there's a lot of disruption and a lot of challenges that have come your way as distributors, and you're trying to figure out how do we respond to that. So Diane, I know you kind of alluded to some of this in your last comments, but anything else you want to add here?
Yeah, I would add that scenario planning aided by technology can be really important for, particularly your demand plan. So looking at a best case scenario, a same scenario, and a worst case scenario can really put in plans, processes, and redeploy people to react, because it's proactive reaction, and technology can certainly help that. Anytime you have technology that's integrated, it's going to help you control inventory as well as set better expectations on the customer end. We're in the business of growing businesses, which means retaining and acquiring new customers.
Speaking of customers, what a great segue. The third point is the customer experience. Customer experience has been really, really huge. And there's been a lot of studies demonstrating that if you really invest and focus on optimizing that customer experience and thinking about kind of the whole life cycle, if you will, of that interaction, it can have significant impacts to your ability to grow your business. Some of the ways that we've seen people tackle this is look at customer success programs. As a distributor, you may have some customers that are giving you a report card, grading how you're doing. Well, maybe you can create something similar for your customers. All customers are not created equal, but there are certain ones that you've identified that are core to your business, that you really want to invest in their success. And so, what are those programs that can be developed to help them out? Constant communications. And this is one of those where you have to run the balance of, well, I can't come in and visit you, but I could be sending you emails. And the double-edged sword here is I can send you emails, but I need to balance it with not sending you too many emails. As a distributor, I want to be in front of the customer. And frankly, this is all stakeholders, so it could be with your vendors as well. Make sure it's the regular communications, but not too much. You don't want to upset somebody because you're constantly sending them emails and flooding their inbox. When you're looking at a website, is it user friendly and is it responsive? Meaning, it works on my laptop. Does it also work equally well on my phone or on a tablet? Responsive in the terms of, geez, as a customer, I log in and it's now giving me information that is specific to me as their customer, meaning it's your products that you're buying from the distributor from a customer perspective. It's their pricing, it's all that information. Maybe there are special deals, promotions that you want to run specific to a customer. So that strategy needs to be able to encompass all of that, including the ability to push back and say, what's your inventory availability, substitutions, things like that, complementary products.
100% on point. It's about creating an experience because you can use data to personalize your customers' experiences. And that might be unique product inventory that is served up for them. It could be pricing and packaging and payment terms. It's what it's going to do. It's really going to reduce the issues you have with those orders if it's automated. Automation is really the name of the game. And businesses really can't survive and be accountable really to their suppliers and to their customers, without seamless systems. If you do that, you're going to have greater conversion. You're going to have repeat customers.
Great points. And the last is drive your value. So, as a distributor, you're providing special services or extra value to your customers is truly understand that and continually push that, keep that in front of your customers so that they remember exactly why you are their distributor of choice.